Sports here on Amarin Broadcasting, powered by BLOGTALKRADIO.com. We're trying some new things this week, so bear with me here. We are simulcasting through YouTube on Google Hangout. So if you want to see what the guy behind the voice looks like, you can go over there and check it out. And it's live. It's really awesome. It's working so far, so see how it works this week. 3 hours stuck in a chair, and yeah, we got some equipment back. So you might hear me sound a little bit different tonight too. The number to call in 347-237-5539 as always. And I have quite a few things to go over this week. The big topic that everybody seems to be circling back to is the infamously called Deflategate. Those of you who listened to my shows in the past, you know how annoyed I am with the gates. You know, I just think it's a lack of creativity to where they couldn't think of something better. Deflategate kind of rhymes, so they kind of goes together. But nonetheless, it's just complete utter lack of creativity to call it a gate. So I will get into a little bit of the Deflategate. I will share a little bit of what went down with Tom Brady at the end of last week. Here in the show, I will share my opinion on that. I have a whole list of things to go over tonight on the show. I want to get really big into boxing. I want to get into the Canelo Kirkland fight tonight, and Alex Rodriguez hitting number 641 to pass another one of the greats. Basically, Bonds, Aaron, and Ruth are the only ones in front of him now. He passed Mays as fourth all-time on the all-time home runs list this past weekend. And I do want to get into that too tonight. So kind of spread it around. We have NBA basketball to get into. I am trying to pull that stuff back up here. The screen had my internet browser just shut on me. I usually separate the functionalities from the actual news and sources. I had to shut down. Pull that back up here. Again, the number to call in 347-237-5539 if you want to hit me up on social media. The handle for the show is @the_CHT on sports, or you can hit me up directly @Matt Long Sports. I will be manning them both tonight. Definitely want to get into a little bit of what's trending to start out here with the show. They do this once a year, and they'll have Celebrity Jeopardy, celebrities on shows, and they play for charity. Which, in a way, it's kind of fun to see what these athletes and businessmen and writers, what they actually know compared to the viewers, And this week on Celebrity Jeopardy, Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers was on there. He actually won $50,000 for his charity, which was MACC, the MACC fund. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what that is. But they got $50,000 from that in jeopardy. Congratulations. If I have to guess, it's probably something that has to do with cancer. I'm guessing. Yes. Midwest athletes against childhood cancer. Bingo. What is cancer? I answered that one right. You tell me what I want, Alex Trueck. I am posting some things up here also on the invite page. So, like I said, this is your first time calling into the show or viewing the show. We have multi-levels to the show. We have the listening portion that you can hear on Blog Talk. Now this portion, if you're seeing it right now, this is a new functionality. So if it doesn't look right, I plan to put some new stuff up here. It didn't make it. But next week, there will be wonderful stuff up here. I might draw something. I don't know. There might be something there. There might be a TV there. So when you're bored of watching me, that rarely ever happens, you will be able to watch TV. No, I don't want to do that. You run into broadcasting problems. Copyrights are a mother, okay? And I'm just kind of talking from the publisher side. A lot of people don't think about this when they're writing blogs and posting on social media and stuff like that, but your innocent posting on social media is a publication. This is why you see people getting in trouble nowadays for stuff that they say on social media, because it's a public document, essentially. So it's one thing to say to somebody, hey, I will beat you up. I will punch your face in. That's one thing. But when you put it in writing, it is holding more clout. So when you go online and you decide you want to say something, remember you are publishing it. It's no different than putting it in a newspaper, except for it's online. It's a digital publication. So to kind of keep these things in mind, and there are these people out there. So the people that make memes, I like memes. I make memes all the time. I'm not saying that I follow this, so I'm right there with you and potentially getting in trouble for these memes. But if you did not take the picture and somebody copyrighted the picture, they can sue you. And they will win every time. This has kind of changed because the government is changing what intellectual property is on the internet. Because they want to make sure photographers and videographers and people that put content online get to enjoy their content that they put the hard work in for, which I can appreciate. You know, I'm not a photographer. I take photos for events because I have to have them, but I don't call myself a photographer. But if somebody's just taking all my pictures and using them for themselves, you know, it's kind of flattering that you think my pictures are good enough to use. But at the same time, it's not yours to use. You just ask for permission to use it, and so on and so forth. Or if it's in an editorial or journalistic publication, such as Cold Hard Truth on Sports, the website, the CHTonsports.com, or like ESPN and stuff like that. If you reference where the photo is from, that allows you to give credit to the person that deserves the credit. So it's just one of those things that people rarely understand, that posting something on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or pinning it. If you pin it, literally, if you pin it from somebody's website onto your Pinterest page without their permission, that's violating copyright. Stupid. That is stupid. Posting stuff on social media is stupid in that sense of violating copyright. I could see when somebody took an image and used it in, I don't know, print ads, commercials, flyers, brochures, billboards, like actual marketing material. I'm not talking about memes or something like that. And really go after somebody for stealing it to try to financially benefit off it. I get that. But there are people that just sit and pray and wait that you take their picture so they can sue you. And my advice, and from working in and around multimedia, if they say they own it and they have proved that they own it, whatever they say for you to pay the first time is usually best to pay the first time. And the reason being because it's just going to go up and up after that. And the way that the intellectual property laws are set up now, they can sue you for up to $100,000 just for using a picture. Pretty sad. What else is pretty sad is deflated footballs. I don't know if it's really stupid that so many people are so hung up on deflated footballs that have less air in them than other footballs, or maybe footballs that don't have as much air in them as others, half full, half empty. I don't know. Talk about deflated footballs. Now, everybody keeps looking at this Tom Brady suspension. By the way, for those of you that have been on the rock the last couple days, and Greg Jennings, the wide receiver that just signed with Miami before they, bring on $1 billion other wide receivers, he doesn't pay attention to sports news, and he was on a radio station this week, and they told him the news. They were like, "Hey, what do you think of Tom Brady's suspension?" He's like, Tom Brady was suspended? Yeah. Tom Brady of the New England Patriots was suspended 4 games for his role that he played in Deflategate, which resulted in, I believe it was 10 of 11 footballs that were underinflated that they used in the AFC Championship game, which they won handily, by the way, against the Indianapolis Colts. This was really big heading into the Super Bowl. It kind of commanded a lot of the talk heading into the Super Bowl. So, rightfully so, they kind of didn't talk about it or commented on it as far as the NFL. It's time to take away attention from it. The last thing they want to do is suspend a coach or reprimand players heading into the biggest game of the year. It's not financially beneficial for them to have people not participating in a game. That looks delicious. To shake. We'll put it in the blender. Yeah, I'm on air. It's okay. You will hear noise in the background. I have a home studio. I like shakes and smoothies. And I like to see my wife make shakes and smoothies. It's just miraculous. You want a deflate conversation? Walk up with a smoothie. No, so essentially, it's not financially beneficial for the NFL to really go over the negativity or talk about reprimanding or have probably the best player in the game or most notable players, first ballot Hall of Famer that would be involved, not playing. Um, Even though a lot of physicists came out, scientists, sports science, Bill Nye the Science Guy, these guys all came out and said that deflating the football does not create any sort of an advantage for the quarterback. A deflated football goes further. You can't throw it as well. You can hold on to it better. So in that retrospect, actually catching the football and carrying the football is easier because you can squeeze it tighter. The tighter the grip that you have on the ball, the less likely you are to fumble. Oh, that's right. The New England Patriots did have like, I don't know, an eighth of the amount of fumbles as the next team in the league. Like they don't fumble. Like if they fumbled, I think they fumbled like 12 times all season. Is that? I don't even think it was that. Like 8. It might have been single digits. I don't have them pulled up here. Hold on. We'll get those up here at some point in time if need be. Again, the number to call in 347-237-5539. Just reminding all the listeners out there, if you go over to thechtonsports.com, we have a special offer over there. If you just type in the upper right-hand corner of the search bar, just type in the search bar, travel 1. Word travel, number 1, and you can go over there and save 30-40% on hotels, airfare, and other travel accommodations through our partners over at Expedia. Wonderful people, Expedia and Hotels.com, because they own Hotels.com. I don't know if you're supposed to know that, but they do. So it's the same company. You thought you were getting a better rate. It's the same company. It's the same. But you can go over to thechtonsports.com and in the upper right-hand corner, again, travel 1 and save yourself a boatload of money by booking through our website and the special offers that we have over there. But the big deal really isn't throwing the football, as we've seen with scientists and so on and so forth. And it didn't really give him a competitive advantage in any sort of extravagant sense. It made him more confident, maybe made him feel more secure about throwing the football. It doesn't matter if he got better in the second half or not. It doesn't matter if they did have less fumbles. The issue with it is, and this is, people, you just got to wrap your mind around this, okay? It's not the fact that did he benefit in the game from deflating the football. That's not the issue. The point isn't to find out did he benefit. The league doesn't want to vacate wins. They don't want to vacate championships. It's not financially beneficial for them. They're not looking for that. What they're looking for is, did he intentionally overlook the rule? Did he lie? They're looking at character. You understand? It's a character thing. Not so much did you cheat to win. Did he win because of it? And we know he didn't win because of it. If deflating a football won you football games, every team would deflate football games or deflate footballs to win football games. Every team would try to. It wouldn't be if everybody would try. We sit back here and we're looking at the Patriots and be like, oh yeah, they're dirty. You gotta understand, all teams do something of this major to a certain extent. Maybe it's not Maybe it's not this. Maybe they run practices longer than they're allowed to. Some people, they're pumping crowd music in, which you think actually is affecting the game a little bit more. Again, it comes back to they're looking for character issues. They're looking for stuff that affects the integrity of the game. If you are manipulating things within the game that are outside the rules, I have no problem with Belichick, calling guys on and off the line because that was within the rules. It's a manipulation of what he can do within the rules. That's fair game. That's no different than changing your formation. They've taken that away this year, by the way, because not enough people knew it, which I think is bullshit. We don't need to come and give, just because you have trouble hitting the ball doesn't mean you need to have a team. I'm just saying, practice and work better at hitting the ball. We didn't see them abolish the Wildcat when they did it, when it was effective for a season and season and a quarter, when teams would run the Wildcat. No, they didn't abolish it. People stopped and they figured it out. This is what they're going to do. That's what they should have did with this whole off the line rule. On the line, off the line, eligible receiver, and who's not. They should have forced the defense to learn. I mean, it's to their advantage to let the offense do that. They want to make this an offensive league, increase the amount of scoring, because when you score points, fans watch in every sport, except for Mayweather. I'll get into that later, maybe. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about Mayweather. I'll get into boxing, though, a little bit later, probably right after the break. After the break, I'll definitely get into Canelo and Sal Canelo Alvarez and James Kirkland fought this past Saturday. It was eventful, and it's exactly what casual boxing fans want to see out of a fight. I'm telling you, man, people are doing way too much into Mayweather. You want this guy to save the sport? He tried this. They tried to have Mayweather save the sport. They wanted Mayweather to save the sport when he fought against Oscar De La Hoya. He burned down so much spirit. No, he really did. Why? Because he's a boxer. He's a defensive fighter at that. That means he waits. And then when you try to hit him, he moves and hits you, and then moves when you try to hit him again. The whole point of boxing is to hit someone while also trying not to get hit yourself. Boxing isn't, hey, whoever can knock the other guy out first wins. No. Boxing is about hitting and not getting hit. Because if you hit them more than they hit you, you're scoring more points. If you do more damage than they do, you get more points. Boxing is like every other sport. The more points you score, the closer you are to winning. It's just that there is that equalizing factor where you could get knocked the hell out. And that did happen this weekend, and I'll get into that, the Canelo fight, after this. But I will give you the rest of my thoughts on this Tom Brady 4-game suspension. There'll be $1 million fine levied against the New England Patriots. They will lose a first-round pick next year and a fourth-round pick the year after that. I will get a little bit more into that on the other side of this break. You are listening to the Cold Hard Truth on Sports here on MRN Broadcasting, powered by BLOGTALKRADIO.com. RichardReeseLive.com. Welcome back here to the Cold Hard Truth on Sports here on Immigrant Broadcasting, powered by BLOGTALKRADIO.com. If you're just joining in the show, getting a little bit into Deflategate here, and the Tom Brady suspension and the fines and everything that's been levied against the New England Patriots. The number to call in 347-237-5539. If you can read it up there, I don't think you can. But it's up here on the board. The website, thechtonsports.com. You can go over there, see a bunch of articles I've written, as well as we have a ton of contributors over there from all sports. And we have this philosophy that health, like fitness, nutrition, stuff like that, that is, to me, that's a part of sports. That's a part of sports. So I make sure that that stuff is also available up on the website. So we have some awesome writers over there, and we're always looking for new contributors for all the segments of the website, and all kinds of new content. I like to keep stuff up and available for people to see. So this show will appear over on in a couple different forms. It will appear over on the chtonsports.com. Upper left-hand corner, if you don't want to see my mug, want to see that I haven't shaved in a couple days, you can go over and just click on the Listen tab, and you can just listen. Listen to me, our sister show that's on Tuesday nights, the CMT Firestorm, Sports Talk Radio. It is pretty much a football show, but they slip in NBA basketball here and there, and sometimes some boxing or life. They talk about life there too. I always appreciate that. People tune in to hear sports, but it's nice to hear that the people on the other end are people too. And I do get into some social topics every now and again. Just like my opening rant on this show was about copyrights and having sick son of a guns out there just preying on people, waiting for them to slip up so they can sue them. So if you're waiting out there for that, you are disgusting. I'm just saying. I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying that it's not a way to make a living, but leave the social media people alone, man. There are really bad guys out there. Let's focus on that. It's not helping your efforts. It really isn't. But like I said, I started talking a little bit about the Deflategate. I'll recap real quick. If you have been under a rock since February, it was January and February of this year, you might not know what Deflategate is. Essentially, Tom Brady and his equipment crew conspired and deflated 10 of 11 footballs by anywhere between a few ounces to about a pound. Deflating a football, however, we have found out through science is kind of weird like that. It kind of shows that things are and are not. But there's no advantage when throwing a football that's underinflated versus a football that is maybe more inflated. There's no significant advantage. The deflated football doesn't go as far, which for Tom Brady, his deep ball has really diminished over the last few years. I was saying for the last 3 or 4 years that Tom Brady is really going downhill, but people, see this, hear this. I'm not going to get into that topic, but they deflated the footballs. And the debate really is not, although people want to make it, well, did they win because of it? No, they didn't win because of it. Then what does it matter? What matters because it's a rule. Deflating the footballs actually helps you catch or carry the football easier. You can squeeze it. It's easier to catch. A slightly deflated football, you can squeeze it with your hands better. Does that make it? Does that mean that they had a competitive advantage that helped them win? I don't know if it helped them win, but it definitely was a competitive advantage, even if it was just for Tom Brady's confidence. I mean, that helps out. Confidence is a really important thing, especially in a sport and anything that involves competition. Of course, your confidence is the utmost importance in that. Again, the number to call in 347-237-5539. But the issue really isn't did he deflate them or not. The issue was, did he inflate them and lie? Did he intentionally inflate the ball to try to gain an advantage? If that's so, that's a character issue. That's what's detrimental. That's what the NFL is upset about. 4-game suspension. Is it too much? Is it too little? It's all, I don't know. It's okay. He's going to appeal it, and I already seen that he has appealed. His agent said he will appeal the 4-game suspension. It'll probably get reduced to 2 because the Ted Wells report does not say that he did, but Ted Wells came back out and said the reason that I couldn't get that significant information is because they were unwilling to conform to the second interview. Tom Brady also would not allow access to his text messages. Well, you don't cooperate, and stuff kind of happens. Ask Greg Hardy how not cooperating helps. Yeah. His girlfriend, he was convicted of the domestic violence, of the battery, of the assault charges. He was convicted of it by a judge. In that particular state, they allow you to appeal to go in front of a jury, and when he appealed and took it to a jury trial, she all of a sudden got amnesia because they settled out of court. It was not financially beneficial for her to come forward. Tom Brady's the same thing. If you can't prove it, why would he come forward with it? This is why people are so upset with Barry Bonds. He's not willing to say that he did steroids, even though we're all sitting here saying, oh man, we know you did. But I think we're kind of looking at the wrong thing. We're looking at these things that may be guys trying to gain an edge, but we're not so much upset that they're trying to get an edge. It's that they were already at the top anyway, still trying to get an edge. That's what really pisses people off. It's not that they cheated. People, you cheated. You're a cheater. Is it cheating when most of the people are doing it? That sounds like a fad. That sounds like something that is acceptable. It's something that's acceptable. That is outside the rules. They allow it to happen. They only recently started doing PED testing and stuff like this in baseball. The NFL has been a little bit more up on it, but they still allow elevated testosterone levels, and they even in the last drug policy allow the THC levels to be much higher too. So it's not at all about are you cheating or not. They want to allow cheating, a certain amount of cheating. They just don't want to know about it. They don't want to know that you are doing this, that, and the other thing. They just don't want to hear about it. They're like that parent that says, you know what? Listen, I smell your car. It smells like weed. Don't bring that shit in my house. Don't let me catch you doing it, or you're going to catch an asshole. That's kind of what they're saying. They're saying, listen, it's pretty obvious that you are. I don't want to know that you are. Don't tell me that you are. Don't do it in my house. Bring it around my house. Or let me catch you. You'll get an asshole. That's basically what the NFL is saying. If you're going to do things to get a competitive advantage, that is, may or may not be improving the product on the field, they don't want to know about it. They want to take the fine, and they will fine the shit out of you. A $25,000. Think about a $25,000 fine. That's a goddamn car. That's a car, a brand new car, an SUV even. You could get like a Honda Pilot hybrid for that. Maybe not. Anyways, that's a car. How many people out there that are listening right now and said, if the penalty for you lying, I'm going to take your car away. I'm going to take your goddamn car. It's got, I'm going to take my car. That was a $15 ticket. I swear the meter maid did not leave a ticket on my car. I would have paid it. I wouldn't have parked there. Lying ass. Again, the number to call in 347-237-5539. So the issue with Deflategate isn't so much did he deflate them or did he know about deflating him. We're pretty sure he knew about it. And from conversations with football players, hearing testimonials of football players and equipment staff and executives, those equipment guys, they're not going to do anything they're not told to do. They're going to do exactly what the players want. A lot of these guys are very superstitious. They have to have things a certain way. Go ahead, YouTube Shannon Sharp. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I know he's on Facebook. Go on his Facebook page, Shannon Sharp's Facebook page. He has a little segment it's called Mouthing Off. He talks about it there. They weren't willing to give up the audio, so I don't have audio on that. Otherwise, I normally would run audio clips. By the way, for those of you that are on Hangout, that are watching live, and those of you who are listening and you don't want to listen anymore and you want to go to Hangout, you can get on the Hangout app and you can watch live and listen live through Hangout too. I will be going all 3 hours on Hangout. As you know, on Blog Talk, the last hour cuts out, and the last hour is a part of it. It's available during the podcast, unless you call in before. Again, the number 347-237-5539. Call in before the end of the show, and you will be able to save. You'll be able to be on. I'm looking at the GoDaddy read here. So you know what's coming up next. If you want to save some money and you want to start your own website and you get hosting and you save a ton of money, just go over to the website, thechtonsports.com. That's our website. Upper right-hand corner, type in GoDaddy. GoDaddy. We got a special offer over there for all of our listeners and viewers to check out GoDaddy and save some money on those domains. You know, I buy domains. Oh, my wife's not listening. I buy domains. I buy a lot of domains. It's online real estate, basically. Yes. But I keep getting phone calls. See, this is a phone call I get every night. You see that? No. It's my grandma. Every night. She's 96 years old. Talk to her every night. She always calls during the show. Doesn't matter if I tell her, Grandma, every Tuesday from 8:30 to 11:30 Eastern Time, I'm on the air and I am talking for 3 straight hours with very little commercial interruption. I cannot pick up my phone. She'll still call. It doesn't matter. I nailed her a calendar with my kid's birthday, my wife's birthday, my birthday, and every Tuesday from 8:30 to 11:30 is the show. And she just hangs pictures of my kids over the calendar. Like, she doesn't even care. But the funny thing is, the calendar is actually pictures of my kids, my twins, her great grandkids. So that's really what she looks at when she looks at the calendar. If you could make a piñata out of pictures, the piñata at my grandmother's house would be made of pictures, and if you broke it open, you would find a refrigerator. You would find a refrigerator inside the piñata. I swear. Her refrigerator is covered in photos. I've stopped sending flowers and chocolate, and my grandma really likes cheese. I stopped sending that. I just send magnets and pictures because that's what she looks forward to. Magnets and pictures. And the other stuff, like if I send her a gift other than a picture, Matthew, why do you send me this? You know I'm about to take the powder anyways. Why are you sending me this? You like cheese? I don't know. It's customary. I want to make you happy. I don't know. People usually don't question gifts. They just say thank you. Well, thank you, but I don't know why you should just save your money. Saved it. I send a picture. She just starts crying. Oh my God. I love it. It's so cute. She starts mumbling like that. Now she went from 96 to 2.5. I swear to God. That's what my kids sound like. What? What? One what? I like how they're unspecific. Give me. Give you what? What do you want? What? Okay. I'll give you one. Go sit down. Thanks. Again, that number to call in 347-237-5539. For those of you that are listening on Blog Talk Radio, we are over on Google Plus. Google Plus's Hangout. It's also available on YouTube. I know I went through YouTube, the live feature, and that's how we rock it here. I have a bunch of buttons, like down here, a bunch of buttons. I'm mesmerized by these buttons. I want to push them. I'm going to. All right, I have few people hitting me up over here on a few people hitting me up over here on social media, so I got this blank look on my face because that's my reading. This is my reading look. That's what I look like when I'm reading. All right. So this is a new week. Like I said, this week we are trying out something a little different. We are simulcasting through Hangout and through BlogTalkRadio.com. Now, as promised, I want to get into the Canelo fight. For those of you casual boxing fans, Sal Canelo Alvarez is a Mexican fighter that looks Irish. So that he fought Floyd Mayweather a few years ago. Really didn't have much of a chance of beating him. Nobody really ever does. But he fought what they're calling a higher B-side fighter. If you ever hear the term B-side fighter, he's the one that's usually always considered the challenger. He's not considered a top-end fighter. So it's not really a knock on the guy. It's just saying that, you know, he's good enough to be a professional, but you're probably not going to see him win against some of the top fighters in the sport. James Kirkland is one of those B-side fighters. He's fared well against other guys, but he doesn't have very good defense. His defense is catching punches to the face, which is detrimental in his career because catching punches to the face, one, gives up points, and two, could put you to sleep. It could result in your knockout. He does have a pretty decent chin. The fight, I score every fight that I watch. I also cover boxing. For those of you that aren't so familiar with me, I've been covering boxing here in Puerto Rico for the last year. All the major events here, as well as the Olympic teams. I've covered pretty much every Olympic event here in Puerto Rico, and it's been really amazing to kind of see some of these younger fighters, less mature fighters, and some of the talent that you just see around sports. It's not as I always find in common with talent. It doesn't matter if I'm scouting for basketball or football or baseball or anything like that, and just kind of looking at any sport, how sports just in general similar. You can see the talent in someone, but really the passion, attitude, work ethic is what's going to end up making them great. I say Mayweather is great because he does have passion, attitude, work ethic. The guy's been boxing since he was 3. He's been in a ring since he was 3. And his father and uncle are both very successful boxers. And he's just been exposed to that. He got a lot of work in early. And they've never heard of the 10,000 hour rule. in order to master your craft, you have to be at 10,000 hours. And even when you look at the same music, Mozart, for example, he didn't write his most notable pieces until he was 21, 22, 23 years old. Most people think of him as a child prodigy. He did write a lot of music when he was younger, but a lot of it was through influence and help of his father. People don't really understand that or know that. You do some research. Like today, the child prodigies of today are better than Mozart was when he was a child. But obviously, he's much more notable simply for the fact that the 40s in history. And the things he wrote, like I said, his most accomplished piece is 21, 22, 23. And we see a lot of this between your 20s and mid 30s is usually where your prime and your peak is for any sort of performance or creativity in most fields. Not saying if you're after 35 you're not creative. It's gotten to the point where now you've mastered it. So you're not making some of the same mistakes you were before because you're now a master of it. So you just continue to get better. But people already know you're so good. How much better you're getting isn't as notable at that point. But that's why Mayweather's great. Because he does put the time in. He practices a lot. Practice may not make you perfect, but it sure the hell makes you better. That's what practicing is for. So, I need to kick. I'm gonna take a quick break here. Have a few people hitting me up on social media. I got to get to these responses here. You are listening to the Cold Hard Truth on Sports here on MRM Broadcasting, BLOGTALKRADIO.com. Feral Minds. Welcome back here to the Cold Hard Truth on Sports here on MRM Broadcasting, powered by BLOGTALKRADIO. I didn't know that commercial spot was still saying the CHT on sports.wordpress.com. I ran an old spot. There's no WordPress in there anymore. But if you type it in, it'll still go to the same place. You could type in mattlongsports.com and then it'll go to the CHT on sports.com. That's how it rolls. I'm really trying to figure out this this Hangout thing. It's kind of neat. I like it. So those of you, we are about an hour away from going into overtime. Next break in about 30 minutes. Just don't let this summer music play, man. I'd like to get some guys on here and start freestyle. Not me freestyle. I'm not good at it. Some people that are, or think they are, you know, those guys. They think they're good at it. We want to see those guys. We want to be, you know, thoroughly impressed by somebody that is clearly not as good as they think they are. It's always fun to a lot of people, I guess. Probably not. All right, Fairmont, you're down here. Thank you for your service. But I was just getting into the Canelo Alvarez versus James Kirkland fight that was this past Saturday, live from Texas. I wasn't sure that this was going to make it all 12 rounds. It didn't. I scored. The fighters always do. Kirkland was knocked out in the first round, which kind of was a tape. He got knocked down in the first round. I had a score 10-8. But second round was a little different. Canelo controlled the second round. Excuse me. He did a good job of imposing his will on Kirkland like he did in the first round. But what kind of changed is, and Kirkland was saved by the bell in the first round. He was going to go down. He was going to be done. He was saved by the bell. So he got his second win around a minute left in the round and started moving around really well, started scoring some points, getting some good punches in, and kind of carried momentum towards the end of the round. Had he started that a little earlier, he might have been able to steal the round. But he didn't. Excuse me, drink. What he was able to do good is going into the third round as he carried that momentum. It was short-lived. He caught an uppercut, knocked him down to the canvas again. He got up, you know, just before he was knocked down the canvas with the uppercut. You could tell that he had lost the momentum after he got back up again. It was gone. Caught a right hook. His body was wide open. He was in the process of throwing some flurries, and he was coming with his own left hook, and he got caught with a right hook on his jaw, and it was pretty devastating. Pretty awesome to watch. You know, you see the guy setting up for the punch, and then he gets hit, and then he just whips. It's awesome. How don't people like that? Stop watching Mayweather. You know, if you're really into the sport, you can watch Mayweather. kind of like people that'll watch baseball when they aren't scoring. Those guys that don't mind watching the pitching duel. Technical boxers, that's like watching a pitching duel. Okay, it's kind of related for some of you. It's a little more boring. If you want to see more knockouts and stuff like that, pick different fighters. Pick bigger fighters. You want to see a lot of punching? Well, you should watch Klitschko and Jennings. There's a lot of punching there. You know, Provodnikov fought against Matthews. That was a lot of punching. That was a very entertaining fight. If you just want to see people knocking the slaughter out of each other, there you go. That's really what it was. For 12 rounds. It went 12 rounds. And so did Kirkland Jennings. That also went 12 rounds. And there was quite a bit of punching in that. But don't watch Mayweather. He is the epitome of defensive boxing. He's a tremendous boxer. He's going to box. He's not going to stand and brawl. He's not going to trade punches in the middle of the ring. Because if he gets caught, he could lose. He's not going to put himself in a position where he could lose. You know, he'll let you hit on him against the ropes all you want, but his guard is really strong. He has a really good guard. He has long arms. So it covers most of his body and face when he covers up. So people don't realize because he's getting punched doesn't mean that there's 1, damage and 2, points being scored. Those flurries that Pacquiao threw were mainly to his arms and his gloves. Those don't count because those are the tools they use to block. I did see an interesting article though. I really didn't want to talk about Mayweather Pacquiao. I don't know why I am, but I did. I am. Some people said they were having some issues hearing the show. Hold on a second, let me respond to this. Talking about coming on the show. All right, yeah. They were talking about some of the effects that people, some of the effects of the show. Oh, that's even better. We'll get those ironed out here over the next couple of weeks. All right, next is like, like I said, you know what? I'm just gonna skip the Mayweather Pacquiao thing. I'll put the article I saw up on I think it's Boxing News 24. Basically saying that they scored the punches wrong. And Pacquiao actually landed more punches than they gave him credit for. And there's a bunch of little instances where the official scorecards were wrong. Now it's gotten to the conspiracy part. And some people saying this is why I was turned off, from boxing in the first place. But the thing is, you're not turned off. You're talking about it. You're not turned off from boxing. You're talking. See, I didn't even want to talk about that fight from 2 weeks ago. And I'm talking, I got found myself talking about. That is why these things happen. The Canelo fight this last weekend, it was a cable event. If you had HBO, you could watch it. And it's done the most, it had the most views for a cable watch boxing event since 2006. If I remember correctly. The numbers came back on it. They've had the most views for a cable watch boxing or fighting event since 2006. The fight ended in the third round by knockout. It's always nice to see knockouts. I covered Felix Verdejo. I covered him here, his last fight here, and he has a fight coming up here not too long in June again. But that fight, I think that they're going to have in Mexico. I got to go back and look at that again. I'm not 100% sure, so hold me on that. But there was 10 fights on that card, and 9 of the 10 fights on the card ended by knockouts. 9 out of the 10. Only 1 went to decision. The main event knocked it out in the 5th round. I think, if I remember, I think it was a body punch too. There's a bunch of punches. I think it was a body punch, so that did the majority of the damage. All right, that number to call in, 347-237-5539. I have a few people that are saying that they're getting ready to call in and join the show. Trying to save some of the football stuff for later too. All right. If you guys remember last year during football season, I did this, what was it, 10 weeks, 15 weeks, for 15 weeks. It was 12, I think it was 12 weeks. I didn't go the whole season. It had been 12. The 12 weeks for college football fans, I was trying to egg on SEC fans to call in. We had this segment, can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But the question is why? I just wanted any SEC fan or football fan to call in and give me one reason, one solid evidence-based reason why the SEC was the best conference overall in college football. And no one did it. No one could. They called and say, you know, the most national champions in 6 years. Well, that's a team thing. That's a one team. That's not a conference. One team won a title. You know, Alabama didn't share that. They kept it. It's theirs. They get credit for it, not the SEC. And then one person said they have the most players that translate to the highest level. I don't think so. Well, look at how many guys are drafted. But is getting drafted to the NFL actually translating to the highest level? No, not at all. That's just getting to the next level. The highest level would be all pro. And the last year's statistics show, and the 2013 all pro, I did it. And then I did it again here for the 2014 all pro. And they keep talking about, all the players are from the South, and You want a running back or an athlete, you got to go to the South, which is not true at all. But 37% of Pro Bowl, or All Pro, NFL All Pro players are from the Midwest. 27 of them are from the West. 22% from the South. 14% from the North. This is all based off of where they're actually from. Now, if you want to talk conferences, where they're from, 17% of them are from the ACC, 17% from the Pac-12, 17% from the Big 12. There is 14% from Big 10, 23% from non-Power 5 schools, and 12% from the SEC. So SEC has the least representation. These were just some new stats and stuff I wanted to share real quick, and then we'll get back on track. Again, that number to call is 347-237-5539. Which states are they from? Overwhelmingly, 28% of them are from California, 22% from Florida, and then there is a tie for third with Texas and Philadelphia. Texas and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the state at 13%. A share of 9% are from Oklahoma, Wisconsin, 6% from Ohio. Those are the top represented states among all pros. Which round were the guys drafted in? 46% of the guys that ended up being all pros were drafted in the first round, 16% in the second round. So hold on. 16 in the second round, third round 8, fourth round 15, 10 in the sixth, and 5% in the fifth. And for whatever reason, others were represented there. There's actually more guys that went undrafted than got drafted in the sixth or third round. Basically, if you want to be all pro, you want to either be drafted in the first, second, or undrafted. That's really what it came down to. Pull up the last one. It was all right. So people are saying that I'm having trouble hearing me. Just let me know if this is better. Right. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, we got Clausel on the line. How are you doing? Yeah, I can hear you fine. Are you there? Yeah. Can you hear me? I guess people can't hear me. That's not good. All right. We're going to try something different. I don't know if this will work in the middle of the broadcast. It's kind of close to that point. We're going to try a backup method. Let's see if it works better. Yes. Can you hear me, Clausel? That's weird. It's weird because I can hear Clausel. All right, are you there? Yes. Hello. You can barely hear me? You can't hear anything. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you just fine. You can barely hear me? Oh, I'm talking loud. I have my microphone all the way up. Over. Is that better? Barely hear me? That's happened. That's weird. I can hear you just fine. Clear as day. Huh. I wonder if it's well, tonight we're trying different formatting. Not only are we here on Blog Talk, but you can go over to Hangout, Google Plus, YouTube Hangout, and you can actually watch the show. So I wonder how the audio has came over on YouTube too. So I'll have to watch back. This week is a testing week of I got new audio equipment, so I can hear myself fine, and all the audio tests came through fine. But if you guys can't hear me, then that's the issue. There was a couple of people that said that they were having some issues hearing me. So it's just like, is it cutting in and out? Is it cutting in and out, or is it just really quiet? Okay. All right. Is that any better? Oh, I was talking about rainbows and unicorns, the usual stuff. Rainbows and unicorns, meaning, yeah, Tom Brady and the Patriots. Rainbows and unicorns, of course. Do you have a problem with the 4-game suspension? Let me bring. And see, I don't have an issue with the 4 games. They're gonna appeal it, and it's gonna go back to probably two or 3 games. Are you there? Yeah, Callie Mike's on the line too with us. What up? No, I have new audio equipment. New audio equipment. Oh, I always got time for Winston. Tom Brady could do no wrong. You watching Jay Moore? Was it Jay Moore? Hey, can you guys hear me a little better now? Well, that answers the question. I said, can you hear me better? Start pushing buttons over here on the new sound equipment. Yeah, can you hear me? Is that better? Yeah, you there? All right.